Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a Black Ops 4 video about the PC version of the game. I do want to be clear in the beginning that this is not a video of PC gameplay. I wish that I could have brought that for you. Unfortunately, we were not allowed to capture it at the reveal event. This is instead a video about the PC gameplay and the people at the event who got to try it. The gameplay you're seeing right now is also not mine. It's from Chaos X Silencer, whose channel is linked down below in the description. He's going to be playing with a new DMR type weapon. They're kind of split up in Black Ops 3 into burst and single shot. He's playing with the burst rifle. He's also playing with fire break, so you'll see the purifier and his nuclear reactor core, which you can accidentally kill yourself with pretty easily. I also want to be clear that unfortunately I did not get a booking to play the PC gameplay because it was very busy. However, I was able to walk around the entire station, watch about 40 people play it for a little bit, and talk to them afterwards and during the game and ask them to try out a few things. So while I did not quite literally get hands-on, I was kind of over the shoulder or backseat gaming quite a few people to learn about the build, and the PC gameplay looked good to me. At the event, it was running at 1440p, 144 Hz, at least as near as I could tell, and it looked very smooth. I didn't see any screen tearing where the top half of your screen moves and the bottom stays in place and your frames get out of sync. I didn't see any stutters, any judders, any giant frame drops. I also didn't notice any input delay, any sort of mouse scaling problems or keyboard input problems, or any of these old PC Call of Duty game problems. To the best of my ability to tell, it was running like a normal PC game at a reveal event. I talked to some people who were playing it and none of them had any complaints. Pretty much everybody told me, yeah, it runs smooth, gameplay's fine, input's fine. There was no big complaints coming out of it, nothing busted about the PC version. And I know COD gamers are rightfully very skeptical about COD on PC because we've had a lot of very bad ports in the last couple years and questionable support from the developers. So everybody's skepticism was, of course, very high. When it comes to controls and inputs, the controls seemed more or less similar to Black Ops 3. No big innovations in controls as far as I could tell, and I did see a lot of people setting it up. They wanted to customize things, they wanted to change mouse sensitivity, they wanted to do some keybinds. People were already playing with it and changing things. I unfortunately did not get a full list of options, but I did see that there was enough to make our PC players comfortable. So that's a promising start. It's really good that it's already running, it's good that it worked at the reveal event. However, making 3 maps work for a very special event is not a finished product. Black Ops 3 ran really well on PC as far as I'm concerned, and it had an early demo during pre-reveal and during E3 that played very well as also. So I'm hoping that given that sort of track record and that, we'll say, milestone or benchmark, that Black Ops 4 will run well too. I'll be the first to admit that I didn't play it a whole lot on PC. I did play it a little bit, but the game seemed to do pretty well. It's got its own community, and the modding community seems to have had a lot of fun with Black Ops 3. The problem is the matchmaking, especially for zombies, got all screwy near the end, but overall it was much better than a normal Call of Duty PC port. As for who's making the PC version, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, because I know that Treyarch hired more PC developers to work on the game than ever before, both in-house, but mostly at Beenox. Beenox is a Call of Duty support studio, just like Mercenary or what Sledgehammer used to be, and the rumor is right now that they hired 40 total developers to work just on the PC version of the game, with most of those developers being housed at Beenox. I could be a little bit incorrect on this one, but my understanding is that the management, the core 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people that are working really hard on the PC version at Treyarch are kind of in charge. This is a big change from previous Call of Duty games. Most of the time what will happen is a developer studio for COD will make their console version of the game and they'll hire a big staff at another studio to just port it over as fast or as inexpensively as possible, or Activision will require that it gets ported over, so Treyarch will have to spend some of their time and effort porting Black Ops 3 to Xbox 360 and to PC, and it kind of splits up development time, and it wasn't really planned for, and as you may have noticed, the final results aren't super great. So hopefully this initial plan for PC support and this long-term ground-up building definitely shows something, and what I think it's showing is that Activision is missing out on PC gaming revenue. In the last couple of years, PC gaming went from almost completely irrelevant to the biggest gaming platform period. PC gaming is making a huge comeback, it's on the upswing, and I think Activision's just missing out on that PC revenue. They see that Overwatch revenue in-house, which is insane. They look at PUBG, they look at Fortnite, Rainbow Six, they look at Counter-Strike still making money, and all these PC games that are just killing it and thinking to themselves, why can't we get in on that? Which brings me to the next point of this commentary. Black Ops 4 is exclusive to Battle.net. It will no longer be on Steam, which I'm going to say I think is a good thing. Not all gamers agree with that. I've got a few people kind of already upset about it. And the reason I think it's a good thing is simply because it's anything but Steam. Activision has to pay a certain commission or fee to Valve for every single Steam game that they sell. And my understanding over the years is that they don't like paying that fee because it lowers their overall ROI, which means you're going to have less money invested into the project, and it just gives them less of a profit motive. So I know that Steam is a more advanced platform than Battle.net. There's social features, there's gambling and trading built into it, there's page views, there's a lot of very, very nice things about Steam, but Battle.net for me has always been perfectly acceptable. It launches games, it updates, it has a friends list, it does all the things that I really need it to do to play a game with no periphery. But the good thing is, since Activision owns Battle.net through Blizzard, that means that they don't have to pay that enormous cut to Steam or referral fee or whatever, however they want to structure it, so they get to keep more of the money that they're making on PC games. After hearing that, and even after hearing me say it, I'm sure there's a lot of people in the comments that are going to tell me I'm the biggest COD cornswaggler there ever was and Activision has surely bought me out. But the thought process is simple. If you're a giant company and you're paying a giant referral fee for something and your ROI on it is pretty low, you're not going to put a lot of effort into it. However, if you're doing it in-house and you don't have to pay that huge commission or referral fee, there's a much, much bigger profit motive for you to do this game. It's going to be a bigger profit motive even than selling directly through console. Direct downloads are by far the most profitable for the company, right? Because they don't have to pay to distribute, they don't have to pay GameStop, they don't do the pre-order game. You just download directly through Sony or Microsoft. However, Sony and Microsoft also get a cut, but in the case of Battle.net, Activision gets the cut. So they have the highest ROI, the most profit motive, and the most reason to support the game on that platform versus anything else. That may not mean that it's going to happen that way, but logically, by our ideal capitalistic standards, wherever your highest ROI is, that's where you would want to focus. I do know they also brought in Jeff Kaplan on board and the Blizzard team to make sure that the PC version is up to snuff, because they have very high standards for Battle.net support. I imagine it's going to be a lot like Destiny 2 on PC. While I don't really like Destiny 2 as a game, say the PC version is surprisingly good. We're going to go over a few other quick facts here near the end of the commentary, and they are relevant and important. There have been some marketing promises about Black Ops 4 on PC. First of all, it's going to have 4K resolutions, native. It's just going to support them by default. That ideally won't just crush your computer when it comes time to play it. There's going to be native HDR, which is actually already on the console version. The HDR is native, so you get really, really dark blacks, really good colors, and really good lighting. So I think that's just something they built into the engine this time around. And the new consoles, the PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, can support it as well, so there's no reason not to have it on PC. Where it gets nuttier is they plan to support a lot of different resolutions. There's all the way up to 4K, of course, but also ultra-wide monitors, the giant, like, cinematic ones that curve around your head will be supported. They didn't mention it verbally, but in the preview, they also showed support for multiple monitors. There was, I think, a guy was playing with, like, 3 or 4 monitors or something crazy like that, and the game appeared to be running on it just fine. This is obviously a marketing tool. It's a show to say, hey, we care, we support these options, you can kind of do what you want with it. And the fact that they can show that this early in development is, again, a good thing. There's uncapped frame rate, which is a godsend. We haven't had that in Call of Duty in a stupidly long time. It's always capped somewhere. The bigger concern is that even when you uncap it on PC, when you start running Call of Duty at really high frame rates, the engine starts doing strange things. So I hope that they fix that problem. I mean, running it at 90 to 120 FPS sounds great, but I don't want to run it in those frame rates if it's going to do weird things to my guns or cause the game to skip or judder. They also promised dedicated servers for PC. Many PC gamers currently do not believe there are dedicated servers, but I can get here at home and ping them myself and test for them. They're real, but maybe you're not matching on them. I don't know. Hopefully this promise comes through. But my big concern, the one holdout that I didn't see, and the one thing I didn't hear addressed, probably because it's wildly negative for a reveal event, is matchmaking. The last couple PC versions of the game have had questionable matchmaking. They usually start out fine. Obviously, giant player base, it's easy. But as the life cycle of the game continues and the player base declines, there has been much difficulty in getting matches on Black Ops 3, especially in zombies. Advanced Warfare had this problem. I've heard World War II has this problem. And it's not entirely just a player-based problem, but something really strange happens with matchmaking on PC that seems to artificially reduce your player size or player pool by about 90%. And I really hope that that does not happen with Black Ops 4. I want people to just be able to match easily and simply like they do on console. And that's it for this video. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful about the PC version. I've given you pretty much all the information that I could possibly drudge up, and I hope you enjoyed the gameplay. If you enjoyed Chaos's gameplay, you can check out his channel, which is linked below. If you enjoyed my commentary, you could always subscribe to me if you want to. Otherwise, Drifter out.
Hardpoint identified.
Irradiate. Reactor heating it up.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure. Hardpoint contested. Establish UAV data link. Testing hardpoint.
KIA.
Enemy down. Hardpoint identified. Mission clock is running on fumes. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Enemy tag. Battery down.
Going hot.
Hardpoint identified. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.